Hello, all. Welcome back to the fourth edition of APAC Virtual Global Water Management Conclave, hosted by National Water Mission Minister of Jal Shakti Government of India and MP Jal Nigam, supported by Namami Gange and WaterAid, and also powered by Schneider Electric. Throughout the day, we had three sessions in which we saw various aspects of building a comprehensive water management ecosystem in the state of MP, especially focusing on Har Ghar Jal, or which we call uh, tapped water to every household in the rural landscape of Madhya Pradesh, one of the important and bigger states in India. And for this session, the name of this session is Take an Innovation Enabled Water Ecosystem, the Present and the Future. In this session, we have speakers from Netherlands, from various parts of India, mainly tech companies who are working in the innovation sector, in water sector. And what are the opportunities for these new companies to pitch in, to come into the state of Madhya Pradesh? And for that, we are joined by Mr. P.K. Raghuvanshi, General Manager, MP Jal Nigam. We welcome Mr. Raghuvanshi. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are joined by Ms. Maya Acharya, Director, Biosphere Foundation. Welcome, Ms. Maya Acharya. We're joined by Mr. T.M. Nagarajan, Vice President, Wipro Waters. We're joined by uh, Pradeep Kumar, Founder and CEO, Biostart Ventures. And we are joined by Frank Versu, COO, Hydroloop International from Netherlands. And we're also joined by Govind Singh from Absolute Water Private Limited. We welcome all of you. I hand over the session to Mr. Raghuvanshi. He can talk about how the new companies can come and take part in these upcoming tenders, will be there in next couple of months because work has to be done in next 1 year. So over to you, Mr. Raghuvanshi. Your thoughts on this?
Good afternoon. I am P.K. Raghuvanshi, General Manager Procurement. I look after the all tendering procedure. So, Madhya Pradesh Jal Nigam is executing the multi-village rural water supply schemes, in which we make the groups of villages and take a surface source. After a intake well is constructed on surface source, and we take the water from that source, and after taking water from that source, we treat it up to the standard of IS 10500, and then we supply to the villagers by gravity or by directly pumping. So our tenders are we floated for these work. We are planning to float the nearly 15,000 crores tender. Number is 26-27. Tender is just on the preparation stage. So we are planning to float within 1 month for the execution, for the participation. In these tenders, I briefly explain what is our procedure of tendering, how, especially I will focus the procurement of the material, how we allow to procure the material to the firm. So in we call the tender on the lump sum basis, turnkey job basis. So our payment schedule directly not represent the actual value of the work. This is only the slab of the payment, which shows when you complete this project up to this level. That is not the content base. That is the on the slab base. Turnkey job means if you complete the work, we will pay you such amount. Up now, after completion of work, huge amount is there, so there should be some milestone to payment for the payment. So first thing I want to clear it that our payment slab does not represent the true value of the work. Sometimes it is less than the cost of the executed work, sometimes it is more than the cost of the executed. Overall payment will be the completed payment, which is tender cost. We also allow the variation in the pipeline. Generally, distribution pipeline varies due to new settlements are there. Villages are sometimes some villages are shifted there and nearby locations near the road. So we allow the variation in the pipeline. We pay up if we execute the quantity beyond our tender document for the pipeline. We will pay the each and every item that you executed beyond the tender limit. So this is clear. This is the EPC contract. Now our majority of our tender, the work is the procurement of the material, especially DI pipe, HDP pipe, motor pump, valve specials. So if we consider nearly 70 to 80% cost of our project is based on the procurement of the material. So for the quality construction, to ensure that the material should be of proper quality, we make a list of recommended vendor. This recommended vendor list is already available with our tender document and already floated on this. Everyone can see this on our website, that is www.mpjalnigam.mp.gov.in. This already approved vendor list is available on our website to see each and every region of India. Now, as we are executing the more number of the contracts, so we want to register more vendors in that list. We recently float a EOI, expression of interest. There are some eligibility criteria we mentioned for each and every item. That should be IS mark, turnover of companies must be at least in this range. So these are the eligibility criteria that is also available on our same website. So a new vendor which want to enter in our recommended list, they see that EOI and they submit their proposal before 25th of October. There is sufficient time. Simple, only turnover and your satisfactory certificate that your product is as per the specification. That certificate is required. That is clearly mentioned in our expression of interest list. So we floated the that EOI for these items. I just read: submersible pump, PVC O pipe, P water storage tank, flat PVC pipe, GI pipe, DI pipe, HDP pipe fitting, MDP pipe, centrifugal pump, VT set, WTP equipment, rotating bridge, agitators, gears and notches, WTP equipment, chlorination system, sluice gate, valves, zero velocity valve, flow control valve, electric flow control valve for house service connection, DI pipe, dual flange pipe, steel bibcock, dismantling joint, expansion joint, transformer, starter, electromagnetic water flow meter, voltman type bulk water meter, UPS, panel and console, SCADA system, OEM, cement. So most of the material which we used, we procure through the empaneled or approved vendor by the Madhya Pradesh Jal Nigam. The procurement procedure is: first we ask for the quality assurance plan from that manufacturer. We check that quality assurance plans as per IS code or as per provisions available, and we approve this quality assurance plan and send to the manufacturer. Our third party agency, that is third party agency may be any government agency, any private agency that is empaneled by the government of India. We allow that party to go to the manufacturing site, and as per QOP, they perform some tests, some tests they witness, sometimes they check the report. All things are mentioned in our quality assurance plans. So according to approved quality assurance plan QOP, our third party inspect the material. After inspection of the material at the manufacturing site, at the factory, even after only that material can be supplied to our site. On site, our engineers, general manager of that PIU and SQC engineers and other engineers may also check the quality, and if they have any doubt, they can send the sample to any agency for its cross verification. So we are very particular in the quality of the material because our 80% stake on the material. So we want to ensure that we are using a proper quality of material, because these schemes we are designing for the 20 years. The scheme is designed for the supply of the capacity of the scheme is 20 years. Life of the scheme we consider it is nearly 100 years. Sometimes DI pipe, CI pipe is working more than 100 years. So this is the not life of the pipe or life of material is not 20 years. This is only design capacity for the 20 years. But after 20 years, we augment the scheme. We use this scheme and supplementary we all add the other component and we augment our scheme accordingly. So our major focus is to insurance of the quality of the material. So first I explain our turnkey job tender basis, how we ensure our quality. So any firm want to enter in as a EPC contractor with 10 years O&M, and any vendor wants to appear in our recommended list, they can see our website, Madhya Pradesh Jal Nigam website. All details are available on that website, and they apply within the time limits. So our committee will check their documents, check their certificates, and if they found eligible, then their name will also appear on our recommended vendor list. This is from my side. Now we will listen to other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Raghuvanshi. If I may just add, if I may request you that you talk about the infrastructure part also, the EPC contractors who are willing to. You also mentioned about SCADA and technology. So, if you can kindly shed some light on what are the opportunities for water tech companies for this upcoming work.
There are two types of SCADA. One is operating on, but second is for monitoring. So we at intake, we are intake and WTB, we install the SCADA system for monitoring as well as for operation. But at the level of elevated service reservoir, overhead tanks, that is located in the village area. So there is only for the monitoring of the how much water we are supplying, how much water is filled in the tank, how much water we supply to the villages, and sometimes some quality parameter like turbidity or residual chlorine. Only their sensor is required, not operating biology operated because some ESR are very remote locations and there is no signals are available. So operation of SCADA at that level is not possible. So we mention in our tender document clearly what is the our overall objective of the SCADA in the multi-village schemes. The details of the SCADA is also mentioned in our new tender document, a separate chapter with complete specification that is also available on the website. One can see and go through it and they understand what type of the system of SCADA we require.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Raghuvanshi. We heard the perspective from MP Jal Nigam that in terms of new tenders which are coming up, what are the criteria, how can new vendors can enroll, and what are the scope for technology companies as well in terms of SCADA. It's called SCADA. It's all incorporated in the website document and everything, and you can always talk offline to take things further. So let's have a perspective from industry. Let's have a perspective from Mr. T.M. Nagarajan, Vice President Wipro Waters. Mr. Nagarajan, where do you see Wipro Waters can collaborate with MP Jal Nigam for their ambitious project? What are the areas of opportunity you can find it?
Thank you very much for including me in this conversation. I see that the waters that is available today, there is a lot of scarcity and there is a lot of wastage of water. One area that I find is in reducing the revenue loss that happens, the leakages in the pipelines. I think in a country like us, that is about 25 to 30% of uh, the water is lost. So there are remote monitoring, leak arrest systems, and so on. So one thing I think the most important thing that we are talking about is removal of certain impurities. I'm specifically talking about Madhya Pradesh. There are about we know for sure that there are about 1,800 plus villages and 18 districts which have got fluoride, which is beyond the limits of what is prescribed by uh, the World Health Organization standard. So there are technologies and equipment that is available which can like activated alumina in different forms, and it is possible to treat them through these kind of filters or even through membrane based systems. So I think one area where I think we will be able to uh, contribute better. I think we can go to the next slide. I think I, so these are the three things. One, what are the next slide you can go to? The present challenges and targeted contaminants removal, digitalization, which we talked about just now, and we will take some questions and answers. So if you go to the next slide, you will you can move to the next slide. Yeah. So the present challenges is, like I mentioned, it is the excessive fluoride that is present in the groundwater or in many rural locations, excessive iron that is present in the groundwater, and also in some cases it is the TDS, the salinity that is present in the water. And the last thing that I mentioned about is the distribution related losses. This is something which goes unmetered, unmeasured. This is a treated water that gets by way of leakages, and sometimes it could be, it's being taken away by people who are not supposed to take it. So these are the present challenges. In these areas, I think we will be able to collaborate and work with MP Jal Nigam. We can go to the next slide. So this one is talking about the revenue losses, the leakages that happens in the pipeline, which I think is, if you say it's about 25, you can go to the next slide. Yeah, uh, it's about 30 to 40% is the loss. So it is possible for us to arrest, detect these leakages so that this water is safe and also the distribution is very efficient. This is an area in which we will be able to do it. This will involve remote monitoring system, measuring devices, and some valves and controls and so on. This is one area I think we will be interested in contributing to the Jal Nigam and water distribution agencies. If you go to the next slide, go to the next slide, please. We will be able to do something to treat the water with respect to the contaminants. For example, it is fluoride. It is possible to do it with certain advanced activated absorption media columns. If the fluorides are very large, we will be able to treat it through physicochemical treatment mechanisms, and membrane-based systems also is possible, like reverse osmosis, where the hotness present is very low and there is a high level of fluorine. So these are the areas. So if you really talk about with respect to what Mr. Raghuvanshi mentioned, I would say that these fall in the nature of water treatment equipment. Whether they are specifically listed there in these names or whatever, but at least from the point of view of application, these are the areas in which I will be able to do it. Similarly, for if you go to the next slide, next to next actually, I have covered these two slides. You can go to the next one. Yeah. So this is to do with iron removal. There are conventional methods of oxidation, precipitation. There are methods, iron removal filters are possible. So this is also a contaminant. So iron removal filters, arsenic removal mechanisms, and stuff like that is an area where we will be able to participate and collaborate with MP Jalnigam as approved vendors. Next slide, please. That is to do with digitalization. So they are the remote monitoring systems, which we are talking about to a level of there is a machine level control. So there are since we are converting some of the manual plants to automatic plants to remote monitoring system, especially because of these lockdown situations. We have operated many critical plants in food and beverage or mission critical sectors in the water. We have converted, installed some sensors, devices, and incorporated some analytics, and we will be able to derive trends and operate it from a remote thing. That is also a great possibility where I think we will be able to collaborate. If you go to the next slide, I have two more slides before I finish. So one is that we will be able to, like I was mentioning, early detection of leakages and flow, pressure loss, and smart alarming alarms created. So we will be able to clearly measure, predict what is the flow, pressure drops, and analyze this data and derive some meaningful trends and some predictability of performance, availability of the systems for a longer period of time. These are the things that would be possible. We go to the next slide. Typically, these are the trends. This is going to be the future. So we will be able to link it up with remote, mobile, diagnostic, preventive maintenance, and we are in at least in private sector in industry we have seen we are able to clearly predict what is the level of maintenance of spares and stuff like that that will be required, chemicals and stock, so that the inventory is not stocked up. So we will be these kind of things with respect to digitalization will be able to bring in a lot of efficiency and availability to the existing plant. So this is what is my presentation all about. To summarize, some of the water treatment equipment related to arsenic removal, fluoride removal, leak detection systems, and remote monitoring is an area which will be of interest to us. Plus, also I'm sure it will be of some value to the great organization like LP Jalnigam, who are indulging into a big time distribution networks and bringing water to the tap and so on.
Right, right, right. Thank you so much, Mr. Nagarajan, for shedding some light on what kind of work being done by Wipro Waters, especially when it comes to using newest technologies like IoT to prevent and monitor water leakages, which is a huge problem. As you showed in your data, the World Bank report says that almost $1.4 billion annually is being wasted uh, uh, in terms of water leakage, which is undetected water leakage. We don't know, and there the technology can play a big part. Thank you so much for enlightening us with your insights. We'll come back to you. Let's have a perspective from Biosphere, from Netherlands, on India operations. I think Maya Acharya and Pradeep Kumar both are present with us today. So Maya and Pradeep, I'll ask you jointly. You can answer one by one. That what are the areas you can see that you can come into the picture? You have heard what MP Jal Nigam is trying to do, and Maya and Pradeep are both a veteran in terms of water sector. Um, I must say they're experts in water sector in India. So, Maya, over to you. Pradeep, over to you. Your thoughts. If you can unmute your mic, Maya.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Thank you, Shovik, for this great opportunity, and I think it's a great forum to be there because what we have been hearing since morning about the the programs and the initiatives which are being taken, which are being taken and which are expected to be taken in under the Jal Jeevan mission and under all kinds of IoT based and SCADA based programs. So it's really a great opportunity to hear the experts, especially the additional secretary, chief secretary, Mr. Malay Srivastav, and Mr. Ashok Kumar, who talked about, of course, the Catch the Rain. So, honestly speaking, I would like to mention that as Biosphere Foundation, we'll be very keen to look at a holistic picture of water. So it's about the entire, all the areas in water management. So we as a Dutch company, we look into different aspects of water management, whether it is in the area of recycling, in the areas of water treatment, and we believe in all kinds of nature-based solutions. So that is the main USP of this Dutch company, that we kind of ensure that all these systems and all the technologies which we can come in from the Dutch side, they are very eco-friendly, they are very nature-friendly, and they are cost-wise also, they are pretty much efficient and effective. So maybe I could just present a couple of slides just to kind of let you know what exactly is Biosphere and how do we want to come in. And then, of course, I will hand it over to Pradeep, who can, of course, share about a little bit more on the programs and the projects which we are kind of, we should get. So, Pradeep, maybe if you can just share the slides. Okay, so just so this is basically what I was just mentioning, that Biosphere Foundation. So this is a company in the Netherlands which believes a lot in nature-based solutions for sustainable natural resource management. Pradeep, the next slide, please. Yeah, so the main motto of this foundation is the goal is basically that care for our blue planet, it is ours to love. So that's the main mission of this foundation. And basically, our the main objective of this organization is to inspire the intelligent use of the Earth's natural resources and empower the individuals to become leaders in biosphere stewardship. It also helps in developing the services and the products that enable to support the biosphere as a big, beautiful habitat for humanity. We design circular alternatives with a multiplier factor on impact, and we look for opportunities to tackle the ecological problems right at the source. Now, I would like to mention that currently we are looking at setting up the India office, which will be operational in 2 or 3 months, wherein we would like to kind of focus on not only water in a holistic manner, water treatment, water systems, water security, but we would also be focusing on the nexus areas like agriculture with water, energy with water, and also food and nutrition. So these are also the areas. But right now, currently, we are operating through our affiliate of Biosphere Foundation, which is Biostart Ventures. So Biostart Ventures is actually specializing in integrating the climate friendly bioengineering interventions, and it's doing through two major methods. One is the environmental and the biotechnology applications to create strong and durable climate resilient water, soil, and air pollution management. And the second is management by increasing the ecological footprints. So Biostart Ventures is kind of, it offers services to examine the various innovative technologies, and all kinds of, it tries to bring in all the innovative, clean, green technology companies, the sustainable solution providers. And the main aim is that the product or the service which we are offering, and which we are working on, they have a positive impact on the sustainable development goals. So we work on the basis of the SDG goals. And we work for the government bodies and the agencies. We have clients from the private sector in various countries like the US, EU, the Netherlands, Brazil, India, Hungary, Sri Lanka, Switzerland, Israel, and a couple of others. So we are experienced in building and coordinating consortia across academia, government, and the private sector. So it is often, normally we try to work in a PPP format, which is much easier. And so that's how we try to help in forming the consortiums, and we really help in working on the programs from the design till the execution and the O&M stage. uh, uh, Pradeep, the next slide please. So of course we kind of go in for all kinds of environment management solutions, and as you can see, it comprises of all kind of natural and non-chemical process like bioremediation, phytoremediation, soil stabilization, bioengineering, monitoring systems, data analytics, and sustainability index. So we are catering to all those areas. And Pradeep will now kind of take you through, walk you through those programs and the projects which kind of, we have been working on under these process. So over to you, Pradeep.
Yeah, thank you, Maya. It's audible.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And currently, we are working on basically, Mayaji already mentioned about natural process like bioremediation, phytoremediation. Our objective basically to restore the natural resources like lake, water bodies, canals, integrate river pollution management, river embankment protection, grey water management, some fly ash dump site air pollution management, solid dump site reclamations or contaminated sites, low carbon engineering, coastal protection, wetland conservation. See, in the catch rain program, actually, wherever the water is collected, actually, most of the area, the natural resources are contaminated. So when you're connecting the water, collecting the water, or storing the water, these waters are contaminated due to various reasons from the runoff or the contaminations on the sewage or grey water, all those things. So what we basically do, the natural resource like lakes, water bodies are decontaminating, and this water can be used for secondary applications or for but in second level of water treatment for drinking purpose also. So this can minimize the cost of treatment, which can minimize it. By the way, we can collect the water in a proper way, clean the water in a natural methodology by natural engineering, and also this can protect our natural resources in a sustainable way. So these are from the projects we implemented already in Calcutta and various regions. This is one grey water management system with gravity, which already implemented in Glass Center, Glass and Ceramic Institute in Calcutta. And this technology also can be used in existing ETPs or STPs by using bioremediation system. So that can increase the efficiency of the treatment and much utilization of the existing plants also by using biocodes and plant-based natural engineering. See, these are some of the studies we have already done in Mithi River in Bombay with the MMRDA. It was a highly contaminated river, basically, it can has a canal only. It is in the MMRDA location. We experiment actually with Mumbai University. Very successfully, we implemented the project in the pilot scale. Now, this is for going for the expansion of the 1 kilometer stretch. We are going for a new project in Mumbai. See, this is the another large project we are taking up in Kerala. This was a fully contaminated water body or lake, which you can say, which is connected with a very lot of grey water was entering. One river also connected with this one. Lot of drainage points were connected with this particular lake. Actually, it is contaminated. Now, the tourism department and irrigation department, Kerala Water Authority, want to restore the entire area to catch the water and also create as a biodiversity park in the surrounding area. This around 225 acres of project, which is it's a consortium model bid for with the Kerala state government, which we awarded very shortly. Will start the work in this window reality. And this is some of the project we have taken up in Lucknow Development Authority. This is an Ellico Lake. This was in the township area. Lot of grey water entry, a lot of other runoff water was there. The water body was so contaminated because it is surrounded by a lot of communities and living there. So now what we are going to do, the entire area we are going to excavate out entire seal desilting, and we are maintaining the embankment protection in a natural way without any cement applications, and also we are collecting the grey water as well as runoff storm water collection. Actually, we are storing in a proper way to create not only a lake restoration or water body restoration, to maintain as a green space for the leisure purpose as well as for the biodiversity enhancement. And this is some of the work already implemented with this West Bengal irrigation department. There are hundreds of kilometers of canals are there, which is they use basically cement blocks or concrete structures or hard structures. Now, this was not in the tender document of in the terms of reference or BOQ as the government. We are giving providing the consultancy to the state government, and now this is more than 8 kilometers already stabilized the canal embankment protection by bioengineering. And this is the another lake which is in UP with the Kargapur Lake. This is also in the tender process. This was UP. There is a lot of water scarcity problem is there. This is the outskirts of UP actually, which is now going to be rejuvenated by using bioengineering. This is another issue is happening in Bengal. The lot of water canal. It's a very arid zone, act like Bakura district. There's no water actually. Very less rainfall is there. There's a canal was there which is connected. We created a different area. Bunch we created, and there the soil was getting loose actually. The entire area restored, and the canal is maintaining to collect the water in a proper way for, for groundwater recharging as well as for the secondary application. They can pump for agriculture all those things. This is another area because most of the state actually there are in particular the eastern state, we can say a lot of mining area thermal power plants are being used for application of power generation, and this area it is being dumped by waste like fly ash. This is causing a large water pollution. More than 5 square kilometer area water is being contaminated, even though good rainfall is there, but water is getting contaminated. So this area we are doing a green capping methodology to minimize the water contamination, so that the whole area, second rainfall onwards or the next year, a few further years, no, the water, no, it is the material will not move, the fly ash will not
Right,
move, and it will not contaminate the site.
right, right.
This is
Mr.
another work
If
we are doing
I
with the
request you can wrap it up in a minute or so. We have other speakers as well.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Orica. We are doing this again a leachate management system in Gomia, Jharkhand. Again, we are restoring this area. This is the another dump site project which you are the consultant to West Bengal government for capping of the waste dump sites like Dhapa dump site actually. This is the water monitoring system. We have got an IoT system for maintaining the all water bodies lake by using a real-time water monitoring system. These are large lake restoration project by using floating islands actually. These are some of the clients which are already working with various organizations in India and abroad. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I trust this the our technology it can be used for MP Jaldigam with the set of in the set of Madhya Pradesh. Thank you so
Right.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maya Acharya and Pradeep Kumar. If I may say that the Biosphere is trying to make a difference by leveraging nature-based solution for sustainable water management. Obviously, technology will be playing a very important part in that. Thank you so much, Maya and Pradeep.
Thank you.
Let's have a
Thank you.
perspective from Mr. Govind Singh, Techno Commercial Senior, Absolute Water Private Limited. Govind, you heard the perspective from MP Jal Nigam and from other water take companies as well. Where do you see Absolute Water can fit in the scheme of things in MP, especially when it comes to drinking water, providing drinking water through tap connections?
First of all, I would like to thank you to the APAC networking and the Jal Jeevan MP Jal Jeevan Nigam administration to organize such a wonderful platform to present us our technology in the front of you guys. I'm Absolute Water. I'm from the Govind Singh from the Absolute Water. I just would like to understand and want to make you a bit of light over that. Being as Absolute Water, we are the company who deals in total waste and wastewater management companies. In terms of wastewater management companies, we are dealing both to deliver a water treatment plant for the surface water, as one of the officials from MP Jal Nigam already mentioned that. I would like to say that most of the things has already been covered by the most of the speaker itself. I just want to brief one of my technology that recently we have organized or we have installed in the Jharkhand state, in the Plamur district, where we have found that in their ground surface water generally there is lots of contamination. Generally there are many contamination in the surface water like fluoride, iron, arsenic, nitrate. So we installed one of the smallest plant over there that is hardly 5,000 liter per day, just for a village, to demonstrate a technology with a very green and innovative resin based technology. So in the technology, we are not using any chemical to treat any kind of contamination. Instead of that, we are using some resins, natural resins, which cleans the fluoride and iron arsenic via treating itself. And there is 100% conversion from water treatment, so there is no discharge or any wastewater comes out from the technology. So we have successfully demonstrated three plants over there itself in terms of as Mr. uh, General Manager state that in terms of water supplying unit. So another point of view I would like to say, we are also a company who are dealing with the recycling of wastewater which generally generate from the households or a community level. And we are the one of the company in India which are treating the sewage up to a drinking level by a very 100% green technology. We are proudly say that we have installed so far around 4 mld 4 mld of capacity of treatments of wastewater, which we are treating via vermi filtrations without using of any chemicals. And we are treating up to a level that we can use we can replicate about 80 to 90% of fresh water in our daily life usage in the manner of in treating of wastewater. As I initially state that this is all about the Jal Jeevan mission. So I would like to just would like to demonstrate, or just I would like to say that we have a two scheme for the especially for the district or the villages, sir. Generally in the Jal Jeevan mission there is a centralized scheme where we need to make a overhead tanks and distribute the water, treated water or clean water to the household via scheme called Har Ghar Jal and Har Ghar Jal. And other way is to treating a decentralized installing a decentralized wastewater treatment system. Generally many areas where pipelines are very difficult to install, like in the hilly areas or generally areas which are too rare from the main cities. So in these areas, if any kind of contamination like fluoride, iron, arsenics are there, so we have just installed, as I mentioned, that recently three plants of 5,000 capacities, 5,000 liter per day capacities, to just remove the iron, arsenic, and fluoride with 100% conversion rate, without making any kind of discharge and wasting any water during the treatment. So these are the few things which I would like to represent over here. And as I sir mentioned that the EY is already I think uploaded in their website. We will go through with it. We'll see how we can able to match their requirement and can be able to give them best solution from our hands. Thank you for the
Right,
short intro.
right. Thank you so much. A very good insight by Govind in terms of using technology for the rural part of the country. You gave the example of Jharkhand and other states as well. So I'm sure, as you have said, that you will be going through the UI document, and there you can find a lot of areas where you all can think of participating. I'm sure that will be there on anvil. Uh, we have come to the end of this fourth edition of Global Water Management Conclave. But the name of the event is Global Water Management Conclave with a focus on the state of Madhya Pradesh. So let's end the session with a global speaker from Netherlands. We have with us Mr. Frank Vershoe. COO Hydroloop International Netherlands. They're doing an innovative work that I know, maybe mostly for the urban area in Netherlands, but you never know. Those kind of innovative idea can be workable in the rural parts of India. You never know. So let's have a perspective from Frank. Frank, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you as well for inviting me to do this presentation. I will see if I can, because I prepared some slides. Let me do share screen. I think it works.
Yeah, it works. Yeah. You just now play the presentation. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, you can see my slide now?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so yeah, I'm a member and also one of the co-founders of a company that is already involved for 15 years now in bringing a solution to market to act more wise with using more scarce water resources. So our slogan for the company is act wise, use water twice. And I would like to explain a bit our line of thinking. Of course, there are some product elements because we are a product company, but I think it's also a line of thinking, and I hope it helps you also to solve your issues. I'm also very aware that I'm a lucky person being born and raised in a wealthy area of the world. And of course, India. I have been traveling a lot. I only have been in India once. I've seen some very beautiful things, but also some ugly parts of India. And also when we go to a country, because we have requests from everywhere all around the world, so you'll always try to find out a bit what is different, what can we learn about this, and how should we have a different approach. So the next few slides is my kind of assumption about what is going on in India. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Please educate me further if I've made some mistakes. But yeah, what we see in India is there is something going on. There is, and also I read some books about people from India and also the southeast of Asia, and they said one of the steps out of poverty is when you get access to water closets. So from some to luxury toilets. But yeah, then you're also entering another problem. It's from nasty smell when this and spread of diseases to water scarcity issues. And I think, yeah, also the preliminary speakers already addressed that issue. And I think they all had great solutions. And we also believe that we should cooperate with all these type of solutions to do something right that is also manageable for future generations. Our part of the contribution is very much focused on the reuse of lightly contaminated water and decentralized water recycling. I found some numbers about what is the average domestic water consumption in India. I also found out that this is not one straight figure because it differs a lot throughout the country, but I took one of these examples. Also, you can already see on the right table that I found that there is there is a difference between cities, between areas. But the key question here is, what if you can reuse the lightly contaminated water? And if you can flush the latrines and do the washing of clothes with lightly contaminated water that you can directly recycle after being produced, then you can save over 40% on water and wastewater. And I think also with the other solutions that just have been presented, I think it is definitely, it's not only about what is happening inside the house, but it's also what can you do to, set up a better infrastructure that needs less size, needs less capacity. About this decentralized, water recycling, we had a preliminary company. We started that in 2004, parked it in 2013. I can tell you, it learned us a lot of lessons, but also cost us a lot of investment money. And based on that lessons, we started Hyderloop in the end of 2015. And now we are in a world that is much better aware. And also we have a technology that is much better working than the old technology we developed. But we were entrepreneurs having an idea, and we were talking about decentralized water recycling. What we now also see that there is much more studies going all around the world, and for example, also the University of Ghent recently published a report and they said, yeah, whatever happens, extreme decentralization is a necessity as well to create resilient urban water systems. So we loved also this kind of scientific support in wild ideas of some Dutch entrepreneurs that we that got into our head already 15 years ago. What is decentralized water recycling? Basically, it is collect the lightly contaminated water from bath, shower, washing machine, and for example, also air conditioning, condensation. Don't use the water, for example, from kitchen sinks, to give you one example. Treat and clean the water and do that with a system that is low maintenance, etc. And then after that, distribute the safe water to toilet, washing machine, and irrigation. And this can save you over 40% of actual water usage. When we developed and started to develop the Hyderloop, we had some main design principles. And the main design principles, of course, is what we did, but I think it's also, if there are other people thinking about bringing the same type of solutions, should be considered what we think. So it should match water safety standards and regulations. It should be low maintenance. It should be fail safe. So what if the system fails? People still want to flush the toilets. Because we also see that property and also square meters of property are quite expensive. It should have a small footprint. We, as a team within Hyderloop, also strongly believe that nobody will be allowed to flush toilets with fresh drinking water anymore in the very near future. So if that will be the case, then it also will become a home appliance. Somebody's trying to call me. I hope it doesn't hurt you. Then at the end of the day, also it should be scalable, it should be modular and scalable. So these were our design principles. To make something that is low maintenance, and we tested everything, but then it's for sure that you don't want to have a system that contains filters, membranes, and other kind of stuff. But you still need to be able to treat and clean the water. So basically, we have set up a process within this Hyderloop system that consists of 6 steps. And that is controlled by a central processor. So that is an electronic control unit with our software loaded on it. And that manipulates and uses smart air pressure to stimulate the law of communicating vessels. At first, when the water is being collected, part of the dirt is lighter than water and part of the dirt is heavier than water. So by having this kind of cleaning tank in the middle, we are able to separate it. After about 7 minutes, then we have this kind of separation, but then there still are floating particles in it, and there also might be still some, solids and suspended solids and soap into it. By then initiating tiny air bubbles, and there are millions of those, we are able to get these out as well. So this is collecting the small particles, and because of this tiny air bubbles, there will be some foam fractionation. Like maybe some of you have an aquarium, a fish aquarium, you would see the similar kind of process. That can be skimmed off. After that, the water will be distributed to the outer tank, and there we have an aerobic bioreactor. And after that, it will be floating around throughout the system, and we will have UV light disinfection every 4 hours. So this is the main the way we set up our cleaning process, without the use of any filters and membranes or any chemicals. That's also something you want to avoid. After the treatment, the water will be distributed by a low noise water pump and controlled valves. If there is an issue, it will be automatically switched back to backup water, and the backup water can be tap water, but also, for example, could be rainwater. You never want to have any kind of infection of the clean water, the fresh water, by the grey water or the treated water by the Hyderloop system, and that is controlled via a safe air gap. Once every 2 weeks, there will be regular self-cleaning, and what is important as well, our systems are connected to the internet, and they provide smartphone support to the owner and remote monitoring to the people that have installed the system. Here you see an example about how the water gets in and how the water gets out. I already told you in the beginning, yeah, you need to meet stringent international quality standards. One of the most stringent all around the world is the NSF 350 standard coming from the US. So we are certified against that. The system has been designed also to meet those kind of requirements. And also the European community recently set a new standard, and we are far within these boundaries as well. And I don't know what is in India, but I will be happy to learn about this. And we are quite sure with meeting these standards that we probably also will apply to your standards.
Right.
The schematic overview. Yeah, I will send the presentation, but this is again a kind of schematic overview of what kind of water we can collect.
Yeah,
what is
Frank,
the
if you can
output.
just kindly wrap it up in a minute. We are running short of time. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I have 2 or 3 more slides. Okay. This is because that's what I already told you. This is what we bring, but we don't think we are the only one that should be part of this process and part of this solution. So we are complementary with other solutions, but also there is some competition, and this table will show you our product portfolio today, because today we have a Hyderloop 300 and a 600. So for a single family housing with 4 to 5 persons, or bigger family houses, or bed and breakfast. And very soon we will also bring a concealed solution for smaller housing. The Hyderloop Cascade for commercial use, and that is modular and scalable, built to measure. We have happy customers from all over the world, and we have demand from all over the world. So that's what basically this shows. But we don't have any installation in India yet, but we have quite a few demand also from India already. People know where to find us. Being recognized and rewarded from all over the world. And this was my presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was Frank Verschur, CEO of Hyderloop International. Quite an innovation to ensure that we should act wise to use water twice. And uh, as I said in the beginning of this, before Frank started, that this technology may not be in India yet, but you never know when the time comes, and we all can always think of innovation and embracing innovation to make that difference in people's lives. And you never know that this kind of technology, low cost technology, can be used in the rural context of India as well. So that was the.
May I add one thing? Because we would love to bring this technology to India, but then also we know that if we want to make this affordable in India, it probably also makes sense to start up the production of these systems in India. So of course we are looking for distribution partners, but we're also looking for production partners, because we will be pleased to set up also to make this a kind of local production facility.
Right. I can. There can always be an interaction offline that you can find partners, and just like that, MP government is also looking for probable partners to realize their vision of Har Ghar Jal. That is, every household should have functional tap in the rural part of the Madhya Pradesh, and that was the aim of creating this event, creating this knowledge sharing platform, where government, policymakers, industry leaders all coming together and brainstorming the how to take it forward to the next level. Before we wrap this session, I request Mr. Raghuvanshi, GM MP Jal Nigam, to conclude the session. That what has been the outcome of this session, and where do you see opportunities lying?
In this session, most of the part is dealing with the wastewater treatment. That is the post part or part of our program. First, Madhya Pradesh Jal Nigam is planning to provide the water to each and every household. When they consume the water and use the water, they generate the wastewater. In rural area, all over in India, there are twin pit system latrines are there. So on-site sanitation is there. So there is no wastewater from latrine and toilets. So water generated from the household is the sewage, only wastewater from bathroom and kitchen. That is only grey water. But collection of that grey water is a problem. So Government of India as well as state government is planning for the dealing of the liquid and solid waste management. That part cover our second part mostly deals with that part. So in rural area, we will manage the grey water management. In first, Mr. Nagarajan told the fluoride, salinity, arsenic removal. In BR, Madhya Pradesh Jal Nigam is dealing with the surface water source. In surface water source, such type of problem in general is not available. In 99 or 100% surface water source. These are the problem associated with the tube well water. So our counterpart, they are also executing the Jal Jeevan Mission, Har Ghar Jal. So public health department, they are dealing with the single village schemes. So single village schemes are based on the tube well. So sometimes there is fluoride problem in Madhya Pradesh, but they go for the alternate source. Some remote location tube well which does not contain the fluoride, they prefer that source rather going for the treatment. But if option is not available, that they certainly go for the on-site treatment of the fluoride removal, defluorization plant, portable defluorization plant is generally installed in some area of the Jhabua and other districts of Madhya Pradesh. But first our choice is to change the source and close that fluoride containing source. We construct a new source at remote location 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer ahead, and we check that water of that source, and we supply the water to the villagers by that safe source which is not containing any contamination, chemical contamination. Second part is the non-revenue water management. In Madhya Pradesh Jal Nigam for distribution line, major water wastage in the distribution system because ferrules and joints are not proper. So major water comes out of that. So that is the major part of the that non-revenue water. But in Madhya Pradesh Jal Nigam, our tender condition is specialized. Then in HDB pipe, each and every joint coupler with electrofusion joint with especially with coupler, we we fix a coupler and then electrofuse it. So 100% it is the waterproof joint. In joints, we have not seen any leakage since last 3 or 4 years our O&M schemes. So we most of the part we control our the non-revenue water or water wastage. Our water wastage is within limit of 5%. Even then, that 5% should also be better. So some technology which provide us to that also control that 5% of water. We will surely go for that. Next part is the I already explained that we are supplying only 55 LPCD liter per capita per day. Only 55 LPCD water we are supplying to the villagers. So wastewater generation is not so much. At present, their on-site sanitation with the twin pit latrines is there. So they generate only sillage. That sillage is scattered by the open drains in general of the village area. Concrete road are constructed. Both sides are the drains. So they, where is the slope is available, they drain out their water through that open drains. But that at sometimes it is collected in pond like pond. Now at that point we want to manage that grey water, but that is our next phase. This technology explained by the Mr. Frank Westshore is the certainly a very good technology because this is based on the household. But it is not for rural, but in urban area where we are supplying 135 LGD of water, much water is there. So if we use 30 or 40% water as a recycle, because this in technology is based on the household. This can be maintained easily. Household maintain itself and save the water. So this is definitely a new invention type of the technology and definitely useful for the each and every person of the global level also, in Indian also. So that should be appreciated by at least government of India level because household if you want to save the water 30 to 40%, that is a great saving of the water. So lastly, I thank you to all the participants and I welcome whenever they have the opportunity to join the Madhya Pradesh Jal Nigam by any of the item or by giving any of the solution, we always welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Raghuvanshi, General Manager, MP Jal Nigam, Frank Versur, Maya Acharya, TM Nagarajan, Pradeep Kumar, and Govind Singh for joining us for this session in the fourth edition of Virtual Global Water Management Conclave organized by APAC News Network and hosted by MP Jal Nigam, Minister of Jal Shakti National Water Mission, Government of India, supported by Namami Gange and WaterAid, and also our NGO partner is our own foundation, APEC Foundation, and powered by partner Schneider Electric. I thank all the esteemed speakers, all the participant delegates who have been present throughout the day for various sessions. And I'm sure the aim of creating this knowledge sharing platform was that MP Jal Nigam wants that new participants should come up to explore opportunities to realize their vision of Har Ghar Jal in the rural backdrop of Madhya Pradesh. And I'm sure the deliberations made in this conference today, the participants who have come together will give new hope, new avenue will be open for MP Jan Nigam for future collaborations. We want to thank all the members and staff of MP Naljigam, MP Jal Nigam, the MD, Sri Dr. Tejaswi Naik, and Raghuvanshi ji, and all others for making this event a success, and all the esteemed speakers and participants who have joined from various parts of India today, and also a Frank-like speaker from Netherlands. Thank you so much. Do tune into the next initiative of APAC News Network, and also do join us for the next edition of Global Water Management Conclave in a couple of months from now. Thank you so much. Take care. Goodbye. Namaste.
Last but not least,
Thank you very much.
Mr. Souvik Goswami to manage such wonderful that conclave. I congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Raghuvanshi.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shobhik.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.